I better do a quick introduction. My name's Corby and this is my shuttle bus. All right, this is the rear heater. When I test drove it, there's a switch up front that turns the fan on and, well, it turns the unit on. I could hear the fan going and it had 2 speeds. Owner didn't know anything about it. I thought it was just electric. This thing does have 2 alternators, but I crawled underneath it and there are a supply and a return for engine coolant. Yeah, up there in the bottom, there's 2 valves that are off. So you can divert engine coolant underneath the frame and over to give you additional heat in here. Kind of cool. Yeah, wonder what we can do with it. But I'm not going to test it because it's probably been closed from day one, and I don't want to end up pushing all of that old rusty whatever water's in it into the engine. All right, give everyone an update what I've been up to today. So these are the engine coolant lines that were hooked up to a little fan powered heater in the bus. Well, these lines were all the way on the other side. They kind of came through the same way, but they're on the other side of this 60+ gallon tank. And I don't know if you can see in there, probably not, but yeah, it was just tight. So I had to pull the lines completely out, try to snake them in, and I had a couple inches to try to wiggle them through, and they're stiff as hell. But right now, they're there. I'm gonna go in those 2 holes there, and I can hook them up. I'll probably get that to tomorrow. I also am running my diesel heater fuel line, so that's going all the way over there. But yeah, I spent a lot of time underneath the bus today. Okay, so I'm going to try to explain the plumbing on the bus, how I did it. So you can see back here, this side is the plumbing, this side's electrical, but we'll go over here. All right, so in this box is a 5-gallon propane tank. You do not want to store any propane inside your bus or vehicle. They do leak. That being said, I built this box. It's pretty well sealed, but it's completely vented to the under the bus. There's a bunch of holes underneath here, so any propane should just vent out to the bottom. So, all right, those 2 engine coolant lines, one of them's coming up through here. This is an electrical valve. I have this wired into the switch at the dash, and I can open and close this whenever I want. So this turns on engine coolant to come through here, and then comes, I'm not sure if you can see this, but comes in through these, and one returns back to the engine. But so this is a 6-gallon marine hot water heater. Holds 6 gallons of fresh water. It's insulated. It's basically just a storage tank with a heat exchanger in it. So from there, I can get hot water for free as I'm just going down the road. All right, now over here, it's a bit of a mess because I was messing with it earlier. But, so, this is the hot water that comes out of the tank. This is a mixing valve. You can set the temperature on these. And this mixes cold water coming in here. And then this gives me hot water that goes to the tank and the shower. I didn't know how hot of water this hot water heater will produce. There's no electronics on it, so I didn't want to accidentally get scalding hot water at the sink or in the shower and burn myself. So I did that for a little bit of protection. But so yeah, these are the supply lines going to the sink and shower here. Okay, now this is the line coming from the tank, freshwater tank that's under the bus. This is your pump, and then what I do is I reuse the water from the shower. There's a strainer in the shower. There's a pre-filter before it gets to the tank, and the water goes to the tank. There's another filter here to catch anything extra. This is a 50 micron or something like that filter. You have 20, a 10, and a 5. Comes up through here. This is a UV filter, so this will kill any viruses, bacteria, any pathogens, basically. And it comes down through here, and that's actually what goes into the hot water, and then also gets diverted to cold water. So that's how plumbing works in the bus. Here we are under the sink. So you can see we have these 4 5-gallon jugs. This one is wired in for the fresh water. This goes up to that switch, or the faucet underneath the sink for fresh water. And there's actually a kill switch down here that I hit with my foot so you can hear it. That's how I get fresh water. This is the gray water. See, it's coming in from the sink. It's easy to pour out. Another fresh water that's empty, and another fresh water that's empty. One of these lines is coming from the tank. The other line is coming as a bypass. So water coming from the shower will actually get bypassed the tank. So I don't need to put bad water into the tank if I don't need to. It actually come up through here. This is controlled by a switch in the shower. I don't think it's needed. I put it in as a maybe, but honestly, I rarely use it. I get plenty of hot water with that tank to take a nice shower. Basically, as long as shower as I really want to take. This is the recirculating valve. There's a switch on the control panel that will open this valve, and it will just flush all the water through the lines, through those filters, and the UV filter. So it'll completely clean out the system if I feel like I need to. I have used it quite a bit, just as a safety guard. So hopefully I can sit you down. You can see what happens. That'll run for 10 minutes and just turn off automatically. So you see the lines there coming through. And then here's the diesel heater. It's very tight, but I can work on it if I need to. Okay, just give you guys a quick overview of what's under the bus. So you can see over there is the valves to turn off the engine coolant lines. This line with the insulation wrapped around it, that's coming from my shower. there's heat trace around that. That's why it's insulated to help stop from freezing. And then over here, this is my fresh water tank for the shower and sink. I have insulation around it, and there's some heaters, tank heaters on either side of it to help prevent it from freezing. Hopefully you can see how I hung the tank using these all threads and some strap. What else? Yeah. So, you see the breather tube, PEX lines, valve to shut it off. This one here is the pre-filter, so filters out any just hair, rocks, big sand from getting into the tank. And I can take this off, clean it. There's a valve here. That way I'm not draining the entire tank every time I take this off. But so that's what's under the bus. All right, giving everyone an update on the bus build. Anyways, here's my sink. And so I now have hot water. I didn't use any propane to heat this water. This is entirely from driving to Crystal Bay and back. But anyways, let's see what we got. I have a thermostat to control the water temperature getting to the faucet, so just in case it gets scalding. Anyways, 100 degrees. That's the plumbing for my bus. Thanks you for watching. Catch my other videos.